What is up, everyone? Matt and Geoff back for another real review. And unlike last time, we unfortunately did not get to see this movie together. And honestly, Geoff's the only one who saw this movie. And that is Weapons.
Dishonestly, we both saw
Yes.
it.
And that is Weapons, the new Zach Cregger film. And this is one of those ones where I'm very interested to talk to Geoff about it because I've been very on the fence on if I'm going to see this or not. Everyone knows this, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm a little bitch when it comes to horror, so I'm very selective about what I see in theaters. A classic, good old slasher film, fine, fuck it, you got my money.
Yeah,
But
the goof is on the killing there. It's like it's all kind of part of it. You just want to be
yeah,
thrilled while the kills happen.
but when you come to like stuff that's not like maybe it deals with possession or other things, or one of my big things is children in peril, which if you don't know what this movie is about, there's definitely potential of that. So yeah, Geoff, tell us about the movie real quick.
Yeah, so Weapons, which is written and directed by Zach Cregger of Whitest Kids You Know fame. If you've seen that YouTube sketch that's been passed around over the years uh Lincoln at the play just yelling during the play until one guy who turns out to be the one who assassinates and just gets fed up with Lincoln yelling at the play. That the one yelling as Lincoln, that's the guy that wrote and directed this movie. Previously, he co-made Miss March, which sorry, I'm just checking something here, which was made alongside Trevor Moore, R.I.P., who passed away a few years ago, and also of What Is Kids You Know fame. And that movie was not exactly great, but Cregger's solo film debut as a director was in 2022 with the surprise hit Barbarian,
Mm-hmm.
which I really dug. I rewatched it earlier before seeing this movie just because I hadn't seen it since theaters. So it's been nearly 3 years since I had seen it, and I really enjoyed it even on rewatch too. And this movie here, Weapons, um, it really without before I go into detail here, and it shows that Kreger really likes juggling tone as much as he loved juggling structure. And by what I mean is Barbarian, as we know now, spoilers for a movie that's a few years old without really being spoilers, it's not episodic so much as it's told in pieces, um, from different perspectives. They're not conflicting perspectives, just boom, 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 rather than like one linear story. And then it all kind of comes to a head. It culminates in a sort of crazy finale. And he did that again here, but rather than having three perspectives or four perspectives there, he has multiple. He has at least like six different, I think he has like six different characters that it's showing different things from, maybe more. I'm not sure. This is described as a sprawling magnolia kind of ensemble story, and it is in a way. It's very much a PTA Paul Thomas. It's a Paul Thomas Anderson narrative structure in a John Carpenter world, and it was something that I found to be enthralling. I thought it was scary. It was thrilling. It was very funny. There were times where it's terrifying and I'm cackling at the same time. And I'm not just cackling because of that collective feeling where you get a jump scare and then we all go ha 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 to each other in the theater. No, it's because it's scary and it's also hysterical at the same time. But it's not like a horror comedy. It's just this mishmash of tone that all seems to work in a very unique way that I think it's really honestly like kind of a little jaw dropping to see Kreger only two movies in as a writer director solo credit, um, to have such an assured hand on being able to have this vision and being able to play it in a way that's able to clearly encapsulate all of the different techniques and jokes and scares that he wants to do all at once. The story, I don't want to say it's a simple story, but the best way, the log line is one night, an entire classroom full of kids, except for one child, all at 2:17 a.m. run out of their house into the darkness and cannot be found. No explanation, no understanding as to what happened, and now it's about how are some of these people in this town going to like kind of navigate their lives with each other.
Children in peril. Yay.
Um, it is not the movie I expected it to be. But then again, I didn't know what to expect. So it's kind of hard to say it's not what I expected it to be. Uh, but it is more than I wanted it to be, if that makes sense. It is a slow burn where rather than the pot boiling over, oh man, the gas that was lit under that pot, rather than that slow burn, at a certain point, suddenly the whole line just lights on fire and the house blows up. That's how I describe how this movie goes.
Jesus Christ.
It is ballistic. It goes into some wild territory. It has some explanations for things that happen, but not necessarily motivations behind it, and yet it all makes sense enough that it doesn't quite matter because that's not what's important. It's not about it's just these people that are trying to navigate this world post child disappearance. It's almost in a way now I'm not saying this it is the same thing. Just at its core like the very simple thing of The Leftovers, that incredible 3-season show on HBO takes place in a world where one day 2% of the world just disappear. No explanation. No one ever finds out what happened. And it's just how do people move on? What do they do? Who's still investigating? Who gave up? How do you navigate it? Who's mad at who? And that's very similar to like, the setup here on a microcosm, just a micro level. It's 17 children. That's it. That's it. Obviously, it's not that's it. But and it is captivating and it is so funny in so many like weirdly like organic ways. There's very serious stuff happening, something very shocking, and then suddenly there's a thing that happens and I have this guttural like laughter that comes out of me because it's intentionally funny after being so intentionally scary. And then there are these extended thrilling sequences that are somehow both like they're supposed to like shock you and at the same time you're laughing at and with it. It knows what it's trying to be and it's not stumbling along the way. Ultimately I don't know if necessarily the final resolution will sit easily with every single person, kind of like where it ends, but it sat really well with me. So Josh Brolin and Julia Garner star. We all know Josh Brolin of Thanos, Cable, and No Country for Old Men fame, as well as many other things, Milk, The Goonies, etc. He's great here as a concerned parent of one of the missing children and how that obsessiveness of what happened to his child drives him in a way that maybe other parents haven't acted on, and that's a really interesting journey and how that affects his life and his marriage a little and his job and what his actual focus is, and that goes into some really interesting kind of funny places too, in like at least with the thoughts that I had during the screening. Julia Garner plays the teacher of the class who comes in one day and only sees a single child there. This other child, by the way, his name is I don't think. Oh, his name is Kerry Christopher. He's the only child. He plays a child named Alex, the only one of the class that didn't disappear. And you got to wonder what's going on with this one child. Why didn't it happen to him? How is he facing all this?
Right.
Innocent. How is he dealing with this? And it's a movie filled with questions and it's not afraid to answer some and then and then bring up more questions in response to the original ones. Um, I loved it. I can't wait to see it again. It is just really unique film. This is, like I said, Cregger's second directorial effort as a solo artist, and I am just really astounded by the way he's able to play with the form and juggle these tones and the kind of sequences he's able to direct with the moving the way the camera is able to move with it and the way it looks is really nice too. And it's just I can't say enough good things about it. I got to let it sit with me more to kind of see how much I feel about it. But I really, really enjoyed it. This was one of my most anticipated films of the year. It's incredibly unique. Love a good original film that just tries to just be different and just I think it knocked it out of the park, really. It wasn't just like a solid double. If Barbarian was a triple, I think this was a home run.
Interesting. Now, for those who don't know, if Geoff is rewatching a movie, that tells you how good this movie is. Because Geoff doesn't rewatch movies often, or if he plans on rewatching a movie quickly,
Mhm.
that tells you how well it's sticking with him. So
Yeah.
that is for,
I
for
want to,
the
yeah,
for
I
the
want to
whole.
throw out a couple actors too that are on this
Okay, go ahead.
cast
Go
because
ahead.
the cast, Josh Brolin, like I said, Julia Garner, and then there's Alden Ehrenreich, who's also really good here.
I love Alden.
As
Absolutely.
a local cop who has a past relationship with Julia Gardner's character. You got Austin Abrams from Euphoria, who shows up as a drug addict that lives in town, and then there's Benedict Wong as the principal of the school. You know, another person who's like from a place of nurture and care who has to deal with the fallout of this. And how can this leader in the community kind of like handle this? Amy Madigan, who she I'm not super familiar with Amy Madigan quite as much. I know that she was in like Field of Dreams, and I'm looking up other stuff that she's been in maybe, and I'm not sure. I'm not as well versed in her work, but she was really great here. Amy Madigan. There is a good chance I might say she might be like the character that steals the whole film. When you
Wow.
watch it, you'll understand. June Diane Raphael shows up. Raphael shows up briefly in the film. Um, that's she is the a very funny actress in all sorts of comedies. She was in Grace and Frankie and showed up in all sorts of other stuff. She co-hosts How Did This Get Made with her husband Paul Scheer and Jason Mantzoukas. Very funny actress. She's one of those ones where like you know who she is if you see a picture of her. Toby Huss, who's just a great character actor. One of our really fun character actors we have nowadays with a great like high pitched southern drawl, and he's here too as a chief of police, and he has a fun small role as well. So I just a really fun cast too that are all really game.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, for those people who are little bitches like me, what? How do you think they'd be able to handle the film?
It is definitely scary. It is uncomfortable. There are some terrifying moments. There's some jump scares. There's a jump scare that got me.
Damn.
Um, Yeah, and it's like I knew there was gonna be a jump scare. I felt it coming, and part of the fun of jump scares, when done well, is it's just how it's filmed, how it's executed, versus just there being a thing that's supposed to shock you for the sake of it. And this specific one is just like really they have these jump scares in here that I think are just fun because it's similar to not that similar to, I was gonna compare it to some other, but it's not what you expect. You know it's coming, you just don't expect it to come as it does, which is what makes those jump scares more fun. But the actual jump scares are not that many. They're more so like moments of shock and scare versus like scaring you. They're thrilling moments. They're scary, thrilling moments versus things that where you're like, oh, I'm a little bitch. Like, oh, I can't deal with the black cat that jumped out of the cupboard. Like, it doesn't have that sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
So probably wait for streaming so I can scream my head off in my own house.
correct. For
Okay.
you, I mean, I would say go support this awesome original work in a theater. But you do you, I guess.
I just mean for those of us who are not the best with horror films.
Oh, I understand. Just get better.
Uh, so Geoff, if you're gonna give this a final grade, what are you giving Weapons?
Upon walking out of the theater, while watching the movie, I'm like, man, if this movie is able to stick the landing, and then I don't know if the word "stick the landing" is exactly how to describe how it ends, but it lands. So it lands. It lands. I don't know how else to say it without explaining it further. I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5, maybe. This movie is awesome. I can't wait to check it out again. Once I'm actually able to, if that means I'm able to catch it in theaters again, that'd be great. If I'm going to watch it once it comes to home, perfect. Uh, I'm just excited that other people get to see this, and I can't wait to hear what other people say. I think this will be a fun one to discuss.
All right. Well, folks, thank you for tuning into this real review. Tomorrow, you can be sure to check out the next real review we have coming out, which will be just me, no Geoff on that one, unfortunately. But it will be for Freakier Friday, so be sure to tune in for that. Also, I have to get that damn unboxing video out this week. I will try my best to remember to edit it. Life is a little bit hectic. I think Friday there might be a King of the Hill reboot review potentially. I did finish watching that, so I have some thoughts. And oh shit, Geoff and I have a review that we're gonna drop potentially tomorrow. We'll see if we can find time to do it. Because we totally forgot we got to review Platonic season 2.
We should do that. Why
Yeah,
don't we do that? All right, great, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you could all be a part of the
there's-
production meeting at the end of this video.
There's a lot of reviews coming in, so be sure to tune in for all those. A lot of fun content. So, hey, but with that, remember to follow our sister channel, What Real Gaming. Taylor has been streaming Mass Effect 3 lately, and he has another Tuesday Turmoil on our Twitch channel, which is the Watt CW Wrestling streams, and that will be next Tuesday. So be sure to go check that out. But with that, folks, signing off, I am Matt. That is Geoff, and this was another Real Review. We'll see you next time.